Hi everyone, this is Melissa Valentine with My Garden Retreat. Welcome to our channel. This is going to be a part 2 sort of video for the seed starting that we did in the first video. Now we've got some seeds that have sprouted quite a bit, and we desperately need to get them into some soil because these are just jumping up out of here. I mean, look at that. So I'm going to have to do some detangling in there. I also have a grow light set up over there. I'm going to be putting the radishes into that tray. But first, I'm going to be mixing the soil with water in here so that I can use that to put into the tray. And I'll also be using those starter cups for some of the other plants. That we're not going to use this yet, but that is the plant food that we're going to be using. I think it's like a tablespoon for a gallon, or maybe a teaspoon. I can't remember. I'll have to read the directions again. And I'm using the Jiffy Natural and Organic Seed Starting Mix. We're also working on a little project here. These are eggshells, and we're saving all of our eggshells. We're going to crush them up into powder, grind them rather, and then we are going to do that vinegar solution to, because if you just throw them in there in the dirt as is, it's not really, the calcium won't really be extracted out of them. You gotta soak them in a vinegar solution, and then that kind of has a reaction, and then you take that solution, and you could use that to feed calcium naturally to your plants. But we'll talk about that in a later video. Now these are some green onions that we bought from the store. This is our little project. So we soaked them in a cup of water for a while, about a week I guess. They sprouted new roots, and now we're just gonna fill the bottom of these cups with some soil so that we can grow the green onion plants, get a head start on them. I know you can start them from seed, but this is, like I said, just a head start. And what we plan to do is let them go to seed and save all the seeds from that. But let's get back to the seeds here, because that's the star of this video. These are radish seeds, and as you can see, they are just sprouting everywhere like crazy. So they need to get into some soil right away. And these are the cucumbers. That one over there's got a tail, but this one is actually getting leaves on it, so I'm going to try to put that in dirt too. These are my zucchinis, and they desperately need dirt. They've already got leaves, for heaven's sakes, and I really should have done this days ago, but I was working and I was just so tired. But this is my day off, so I got to get it done today. This is my spaghetti squash, pretty much the same situation as the zucchini. And we've got some broccoli here growing tails. Okay, so this is the tub that I'm using to mix my dirt in. I'll put more in there later. This is just the first round. I'm just going to pour the water in here and then mix it around. My hands and my nails are going to be so incredibly filthy by the end of this, but it's okay. So I just want to mix it until the soil is sort of damp, like a wrung out sponge. But I'm gonna keep at this, and I'll meet you back when I'm happy with it. So I mean, this is pretty close to where I like it. It's not soggy, but it's still light, but it's definitely damp. And I'm just kind of stirring it, like reaching down to the bottom and getting some of the dry stuff and working it into the wetter stuff. But I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but for me, this is one of the parts I like the most. Because, working fertilizers or nutrients into the soil and water and everything so that you can plant and grow your food, it's something that our ancestors did to survive. And so when you're doing it, there's just something, you feel like you're tapping into your ancient roots, just smelling the dirt and handling it and really getting in there and not caring if your hand is dirty. It's an ancient practice, and I love it. And there's something, just gardening in general, all my stress disappears. It just flows right out of me, and it's so simple, It's out of the rat race and back to basics. Okay, so I've got that damp soil, or moistened soil, spread out in this tray. This is just going to be for the radish because we have a lot of them, and when we do take them out of this, they're just going to sort of get, you know, divided out of here and scatter planted around the garden area that we're going to have outside. So we're going to be using those individual cups for the other stuff, but this is just for the radishes. So I'm going to dig into that radish package, which is right here, and we're going to start getting these into the soil. So all these radish seeds, I took one out here. I did have to rip the paper towel to get this off because it was kind of grown through the paper towel, which that's okay. The paper towel will wither away in the dirt eventually. Doesn't matter. But yeah, they definitely do have leaves on them now, and I'm just gonna make a little spot for each one. I'm not going to space them that far apart because again we're going to be taking them out of this to put them out in the yard. I just want to make a spot to put them in here and get them growing in some soil under the grow light. I'm just being super gentle with them, give them the best start possible, and I'm gonna pick apart as many of these as I can and fit them in here. Okay, so I've got the radishes in their little spaces in this big tray. Got them under our grow light. And by the way, these are the $22 grow lights that we found at Harbor Freight. And I'll be doing a review video on them separately, probably on my review channel. I've got a garden channel and a review channel, so if I get the review video done, I'll go ahead and put it down in the video description. Okay, so next up we've got the cucumber seeds, and I think I'm gonna try to do, I've got 4 bags over here with the seeds that are sprouted and ready to go, so I think I'm gonna probably do 3, maybe 4 plants of each one, because we have a small garden, but I want a little productivity, you know what I mean? These are not as sprouted as the others, but they're coming along, they're growing tails. Alright, so that's the most on its way one. The leaves are actually coming out of the seed shell there, you could see. And this one right here is growing a little tail, and so are these. And this one I went ahead and removed that little empty seed shell there, and now the leaves can come up and start absorbing some light. Okay, I put a marker in here with cucumber on it, and I just put it down in this little space I made for it. I'm going to cover up the roots. As for these others, they've all sprouted tiny little tails, so they're just going to go ahead and get buried under some soil here. A nice light covering. Now we're going to get some broccoli seeds planted. Well, sprouts, because there's plenty of them that have sprouted. Have some actual leaves growing on them now. So those, the ones that have sprouted leaves, I'm going to try to get them in the dirt here. There's obviously more than what I plan to put in these cups, so I think we can probably scatter plant the others and just take a risk and see what happens. Alright, so this little broccoli fella here, get this down in the dirt. And I want to leave those leaves exposed. Alright, those are good to go. Okay, now it's the zucchini's turn, and oh my goodness, would you look at those. They're just busting out of the seeds, and their leaves are already trying to reach up for light. I'm probably going to take the seed off of that one and this one, well, the seed case, because these want to grow. So I'm going to start with this one here because it's the biggest. I'm probably going to dig a little bit deeper though. Okay, so I cleared out a little more space down there. I'm going to go ahead and bury these roots, because this little guy is ready. Look at him, he's just like, feed me light, feed me light. Alright, same with this one. I'm just gonna have to um, sort of gently move those down in, and then push a little soil over that, of those roots. Okay. There you go. Alright, let's get the fourth one in. Ooh, he's really stretching his feet out wide, isn't he? Don't they kind of remind you of Audrey 2 almost? I shouldn't say that. Ah, come on, stand up, little fella. Okay. There we go. If it was Audrey 2, it'd probably bite my finger. Okay, now this one is coming out of his shell, but he's not quite ready to be completely out, so I'm going to leave the front half of those leaves in the shell until they completely develop, and they'll come out on their own. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant it like it would be, oops, like it would be in nature. What happens is you got the roots and part of the seed under the ground, and that little curve is sticking up, and growing up is what will pull the leaves out of the shell. So I'm just gonna mimic that and just put this little guy down in there and let him do his thing, and he can just sort of finish developing. Okay, now we've got our spaghetti squash. We got one pulling out of the shell there, we got one totally out, another one halfway out. I mean, we've got some things to work with here. There's a sprout and another one already out of the shell. So I'm basically going to do these guys exactly like I did the zucchini. Okay, so here they are. They're all ready to start their growth journey. There's spaghetti squashes and zucchinis, and I really can't wait for the spaghetti squash. I love that. I like to make a pasta sauce and just, well, I'll cut them in half, take the seeds out, and then bake them until the noodly bits inside get soft, and then I'll put the sauce or meat or whatever inside of it, and I'll bake it a little bit longer, and it comes out so incredibly good. That's it for the seed starting video for now. I'm probably going to make a part 3 when the other seeds sprout, like the tomatoes and peppers, and we'll get that underway. The grow light is off right now because it's on a timer and it's 7 o'clock, so it shuts off during nighttime hours. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. Click the little bell so you'll get a notification whenever I make a new video. Happy gardening, people.